So hey guys, so I remember we're studying for college right now. Stick together. I know a lot of kids learn about this later with this if we just stick together, discuss 16
Thank you, Hayden from BMS, for that message. I believe it's keen to reassure us that we will get through it. We'll get through it together, and that we will be able to come out of this NTI process in a much better place than maybe what we tend to think. So, Hayden, thank you so much. I appreciate the Flipgrid videos from the NCS NTI Day homepage, and looking through each of these. It's really special to see people creating those. So, want to take just a second to talk to you guys about some things that have been in our minds lately, and kind of share where our head is, and give you some things to think about. Really spending some time as we look at the GIFT project, Flywheel Performance Systems. We began this conversation a month or so ago, and I think the conversation for us is really what does make a team, and how do you ensure that teams don't become their own silos? How do we ensure that they're really a construct to help us move forward with the work? So that's really where my head has been over the past month or so, is ensuring that our teams do not become silos. So it's kind of strange to link your own blog, but I really started this blog here to try to provide some context to some of the work that we're doing, really more for myself than anything else, because it helps me flush it out through writing. And one of the things that come up is when our teams become silos, because I think oftentimes in our work, we create a team, but then that team is the only ones that are thinking about that certain thing. So if we think about literacy, right, we have a quote literacy team. Well, if they're the only people thinking about literacy, it's probably going to be very short sighted in the way that we're viewing the work. So I think for us, it's really how do we create those opportunities that teams don't become silos, that the literacy team is not the only people thinking about literacy. The care team is not the only team thinking about care and connect, or the caretaking experience. That the workforce development and CTE team is not the only people thinking about workforce development. So that's really where this idea of teams not becoming silos came about. And so as we work through this over the next couple of weeks, we want to share with you guys what we're talking about when we say community table projects, because we know that projects, as we learned over the last year and a half, 2 years, that we have to have some definition to our work in order to move it forward. So community table projects really consist of kind of three big ideas. One, projects are bound. So one of the things we're going to begin talking about is having teams that endlessly meet without very specific direction is detrimental for everyone, right? And so in our heads, what that looks like is that we have 6 weeks. We have 6 weeks to create something, whether it's a system, a structure, a process, a vision, a document, whatever it might be, that we got 6 weeks to do this work. And at the end of those 6 weeks, that team no longer has to exist in the way that it currently does, because teams meeting endlessly together is really not the point of trying to do projects. And I think it creates a silo if the same people are always thinking about the same thing. Second thing is that community table projects are shared, that there's diversity at the community table, that there's shared language and learning with that team. And I think this is the key piece. There's not a director, there's not Chase or Wes or Robin or Laura or Amy or whoever it might be that's saying this is who's responsible for what, but really that team, that table sets those responsibilities in and of themselves to trust our people to do great work. And the last piece is that projects are shipped, meaning that at the end of a project, there has to be a real thing. There has to be something that is done that makes this a real process. So we're going to be talking a lot more about community table projects and that process, but want to just introduce that topic to you guys today. I hope you guys are having a great week coming back from spring break. You got a lot of rest last week. We're excited to see the future. Thanks, guys.